Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our annual member meeting. My name is Scott Katzma, and I'm the board president for the board of directors of the Northwest Cider Association. And I'm so happy that you guys would join us to hear what we're up to. We have some really exciting stuff that we're going to cover today, including our state of the industry, results of the survey that we sent out, and then also our strategic plan that we've been working on now for what feels like almost a year, but I guess it's only been 8 or 9 months or so. But yeah, we're going to cover all of that in great detail. But yeah, I work for a Seattle Cider Company. I've been on the board now since 2018, working with Emily and all of the fine ladies at the Northwest Cider Association. And as always, this year's been just as crazy as all of the past couple of years. So I serve on the board and volunteer my time mostly because I just absolutely believe in our mission and our vision, which we're going to update and fill you in on that in this meeting as well. But especially, in these past couple of years, this association does so much as far as increasing our collective strength as a industry. And so I'm very happy to continue just kind of raising the bar with what we're able to offer as the Northwest Cider Association. So again, thanks for joining us. And thank you especially to Callis Insurance. And I'm going to throw it over to Andy right now. They sponsored this meeting, and he's going to say a quick few words about Callis and Associates.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. So I'm Andy Callis. I'm one of the Allied Supplier members, and since 2020, a member of your Northwest Cider Association board. You might ask why I joined the board of a cider association, and here's my answer. It's definitely the people and your passion. Cider industry is vibrant with creativity and collaboration, and it's just kind of a fun industry to listen to your stories and how each of you landed in the cider world. Plus, you just have fun, and I've witnessed that firsthand. Honestly, I didn't know much about cider a few years ago. In fact, I knew more about the wine industry, but after working with several cideries on their insurance plans, I was asked by one of those members to step up, and I joined the board to give back to the industry that supports me. And I was gladly willing to add my allied supplier knowledge and views from outside the industry. This summer, as Scott referenced, we attended our board retreat. And while we were not in awe of the view of the Hood Canal, we were brainstorming the vision and the values for the association going forward. The board had a great time together, laughter, sharing life stories, sharing cider, hiking. We even clammed out in front of the house there, and I think that was a first for a few. I can tell you you're in good hands, both your executive director, Emily, the association staff, and the fellow board members are authentic and thoughtful in all of their decisions. To quote one of the new values of Northwest Cider Association, exemplary, we engage with enthusiasm, dedication, and pride, thinking big and creatively to help advance our industry in new and inspiring ways. So as a sponsor of this event, Emily said I had a little time to talk about what I actually do. So here it is. I'm president of Callis Insurance. We're an independent insurance agency located here in Washington. We offer insurance products to individuals, families, businesses, nonprofits in Washington, and we're actually licensed in 7 other states. Those products might include property insurance, liability insurance, auto, employee benefits, life, and so on. We work with a lot of different industries, construction, human services, commercial real estate, wine, and of course, cider. I would say what sets us apart from our competition is our passion for our clients, our people, and our ability to offer a wide variety of options and services under one roof. Plus, we support your industry by sponsoring events like this and contributing time to the board to better the industry as a whole. Heck, I'm even a Cider Club member, so it's been sitting in my office. So I share that with my staff every month on Friday afternoon. So I thank you for your time and thank you for accepting me into your world.
Thank you so much, Andy, and welcome everyone. I appreciate Vessel Packaging for also sponsoring the meeting. And let's get going today. I'm Emily Ritchie. I'm the Executive Director of the Northwest Cider Association. And I am so glad that you all showed up. This is a big meeting. There are a lot of people here from our whole region, as well as partners outside of the region sitting in today. And we have a packed agenda. So hold on tight. We're going to go through the State of the Industry report. We have new elections for board members. We also have a brand new 3-year strategic plan. We'll talk about next year's calendar. I can't believe we're almost in 2023. Included in that are new grants. We have $1 million coming in to support you guys and to grow this Northwest cider industry. And then at the end of the meeting, we will stop recording and we'll have open discussion time for those who can stay on a little longer. So I will kick it off with the big unveiling, if you would drum roll, please, our new vision. We envision the Pacific Northwest at the heart of the craft cider movement with a vibrant, collaborative industry where anyone can share in the joy and success of cider. And our newly reworded vision is that we nurture the community, economy, and ecosystem of a thriving cider culture for our members and consumers by supporting businesses, inspiring quality, and telling the story of Pacific Northwest cider. And of course, we couldn't do the work that we do without our pillar sponsors. I have to thank Fruit Smart and Northwest Naturals. I believe you're both here. Thank you so much for making our work possible. A huge thank you to our board members. You've met a couple of them already, but if you're a board member right now on the screen, please wave. This is our fantastic board currently. I am so thrilled to have them. They work very hard. It's a totally volunteer position. And we have great representations from large cideries, small cideries, urban, rural, men and women. It's just a really great group. They work very hard for you and they're behind the scenes. So please thank them. Maybe put it in the chat right now. Let's get the chat blowing up. These are really wonderful folks. Before we jump into future and reports and stuff, I just want to give you a sense of where we're coming from. So I want to give a few program highlights, and actually I want to invite two wonderful team members, Jana, Daisy Ensign, and Emily Becker, to come up and talk about what we've done this last year. Just give a quick overview. And how about Jana, you start?
Okay, it's my pleasure to. Hi, everybody. So glad to see you. Thanks, Emily. I think most of you are familiar with our premier subscription program, Northwest Cider Club. I'll be sure to put this in the chat. Those of you who have access to it, we launched the club, just to recap for you, fall of the wild year of 2020 to help our cideries keep selling online during a dynamic time. And we curate selections of quarterly seasonal releases. We're currently doing 10 bottles and cans each quarter. And this ships to 39 states. Cider lovers, cider curious folks are receiving these right at their doorstep. And we've now shipped over 5,000 boxes. We're headed into our 9th season next month, so it's really exciting. And this is going to be a great time to gift cider. So just putting that in your head for Q4. Also thinking about gifting, I wanted to say thank you to all of the cideries who've participated, all of our members, all the support. It's been huge. And a kind of way that we can give back as well is with these fantastic, beautiful photos that we've curated from the club. I'll again link those into the chat. I'll drop those all in when I'm done talking. We have a lot of unbranded photos that are just really gorgeous that you can use to help with your marketing process. So it's easier for you to keep promoting. And we're ready for 2023. So if you want to have your cider or your Perry in the club in 2023, thank you. I think MJ's dropped in the interest form. We're going to take submissions for that next year. That's 40 ciders or 40 Perrys that we'll curate. We'll take them till October 15th. There's a lot of great details if you follow the link, and you can submit what you're interested in. And then of course, if you have any questions specifically, I'm happy to answer those. And I'll again put my email into the chat for that as well. Emily, do you want us to talk about, should we also talk about other programs? Are we also talking about CICC right now, or do you want to pause?
Yes, yeah, that would be great. And the symposium when Emily comes on.
Great. So last thing here, just for another moment of your time, is another thing to celebrate from 2022 was in May, which seems like a long time ago now. We hosted a fantastic Portland International Cider Cup, our big competition. It was the 9th year. Thanks and shout out to Swift for hosting not only our competition, but also our party, which was super fun. This is huge. 2022, we had almost 60% more entries than we did the previous year. That meant almost 250 entries. We gave away about 60 medals, and I say gave away, but people earned these medals. This is a really rigorous competition. It's been so fun to be a part of this and watch and be part of the growth. We are currently really working hard behind the scenes to evolve and grow this competition. It feels awesome because we know that the benchmark is really high for quality. We're really ensuring that people are winning because they are really making excellent cider, and we're getting feedback all the way through to our makers and helping consumers find ciders that they love. And as we come around the corner to 10 years, a couple really exciting things happening now. We're working with a dedicated team of folks to focus in on our categories, and we're doing some evaluation with that. So stay tuned, because we'll have some updates to our categories. And I think we'll have an unveiling a little later of what this looks like, but we also got approval to update our name from Portland International Cider Cup to, drumroll, Northwest Cider Cup. Perfectly aligned for our region, perfectly aligned for our members. And so a lot of fun things happening now. We're working hard to update and expand the infrastructure and also get more and more qualified cider judges on board. So lots of fun things coming with that this next year ahead as well. Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
So I'll just give a quick update from 2022 symposium. It was last March, and looking through everybody on the call, a lot of you were there. We had 275 attendees, and we're planning on growing the symposium this year. 90% of people in our evaluation said it was an excellent or very good event. So the 10% of you that said it was only good, I'm coming for you this year. We're going to knock your socks off. It's going to be really fun. So everybody make sure you come. We got a lot of great feedback, and we have an awesome planning team that's helping to plan the 2023 symposium. I'll tell you, or Emily will tell you a little bit about what we're doing, but right now, what just happened for 2023 is we opened up registration for the trade show. So if you're an Allied Supplier member and you're not already a sponsor of the symposium, make sure you look at your email. I sent you one today, and sign up for a trade show booth. And if you're any other member, please let me know what kinds of allied suppliers you'd like to see there, because we'll do specific outreach to the types of people that you want to have there. Like if you're looking for bankers that you want to talk to, if you're looking for insurance, if you're looking for labels, whatever it is, let me know, and I'll make sure that there's somebody there for you to talk to. So go ahead and drop that in the chat. If you have a dream person you'd love to see at the symposium, let me know. And We're also going to open up attendee registration, but not for a little while. That'll be later this fall. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you in Tacoma, March 13th and 14th, 2023.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, do you guys want some data? Time for the state of the cider industry report. Okay, I'll jump into methods first. So this was our 8th annual State of the Industry report. It was first started by a board member, and I feel like I say this every year, but this year was greatly pared down from last year. We're always trying to make it easier on our members. This year, we're really trying to get broad brushstrokes. We sent the survey out via Google Docs in early July. These questions, there were 4 of them, were developed by our board members and on member feedback. And because of the shifting, we were able to get 8 more respondents with this simplified version. So in many ways, this is a snapshot. We surveyed 90 folks, 90 Cidery members, and 44 responded, which is really excellent odds. I want to give a huge shout out, kudos to our Washington members, because you guys blew it out of the water. As you can see, 26 responses were from Washington Cideries. 7 were from Oregon, 6 from British Columbia, 3 from Idaho, and 2 from Montana. If we missed anything or you have questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. And feel free to also ask me verbally at the end of the meeting when we're not on recording and it's less intimidating to jump in. Okay, so the report. So we were really asking how cideries are doing this year compared to 2021 and 2019. For obvious reasons, we skipped over 2020. So this first question is about gallons produced. And we asked, how do you predict gallons of cider produced in 2022 will compare to last year and 2019? You can see in the blue, it's pretty clear that the majority of respondents are making more cider this year compared to last, as well as 2019. And the actual numbers for 2021, 26 out of 44 are making more than that year. And compared to the 2019 data, it's 29 out of 40. I believe there are fewer cideries who responded about 2019 because they weren't making cider yet. So the next slide is about employment. So at the end, as of summer, when we asked the survey, do you employ fewer, more, or the same number of people as summer 2021 and 2019? And overwhelmingly, it's the same or more rather than fewer. So you can see the numbers here in the graph. Generally, it's 20 out of 44 were more in compared to 2021, and 21 out of 44 were the same. So that's 45 and 48%. And then in 2019, we're at either 16 out of 39 were more, or 19 out of 39 were the same. So you guys are overall, these respondents seem to be doing better. There's growth. Okay, then we asked about tasting room. So is your tasting room revenue up, down, or flat compared to the last 2 years? And there were more ups or flats than downs. So without getting overly granular, there are no discernible differences between our urban and rural responses. I checked in this question and used US Census categorization of responders. So the data is presented as a whole. 16 out of 37 were up compared to 2021, and 16 out of 32 were up compared to 2019. So that's 50%. And then the last question, we asked, have you increased your prices this calendar year? And again, overwhelmingly, there's a yes on that. Nearly 60% increased their prices. And for those who increased, you can see the chart on the bottom. For those of you who are not on screen, the range of responses were between 3.5% and 30%. So huge shifts in prices. The average, the mean was at about 10%. The mode, which is the most frequent number, was 7%, and the median was 7.5%. Loving watching Dave at Alma do his harvest while we're chatting. Love the multitasking happening in the orchard. Thanks, Dave. So thank you everyone who responded and made time. We really appreciate it. Please do put your comments in the chat. MJ, Jana, and Emily are all watching the chat here. Let us know what you want for next year. Do you like this broad brushstroke concept? Do you want to go back to the very specific data? Other comments, more things you want to know, please ask the questions. Okay, I'll turn the next slide over to you, Scott.
Awesome, thanks. So this year we are, before we vote on the new board members, we're actually saying goodbye to one past board member who's been serving the past 2 years, who contributed, quite a large amount of hours to the board, this organization, and the cider industry in general. So we wanted to bid farewell to Michelle Duncan and thank her for her time and service to the Northwest Cider Association. But everyone else, luckily, we get to keep on the board, and we're just saying goodbye to Michelle for this year. So thank you, Michelle, for all of the time and energy that you brought to the Northwest Cider Association and to our board.
Okay, so elections. If you have not, I'll preface all of this, but if you have not seen your ballot, if you work for a cidery and you think your cidery has not voted yet, check your email. I sent you one last week, or you can put in the chat. MJ will get you the ballot now. We're about to close voting. You've had a week to make your votes, but you're gonna meet 2 new board candidates right now. And if you've held off making your vote until you meet them, you have maybe 5 minutes or so to listen in and then make your selection. So big picture, every year at our annual meeting, we hold elections. We have a total of 7 open board positions that we're filling this today in the election. And our current board has actually done the hard work of vetting and nominating the board members that are on your ballot. 5 of them are returning board members, and you know them well. They're community members in the cider industry, and 2 are new. They're exceptionally skilled candidates. I'm so excited for you to meet them. To give you context of what the board was looking for in finding candidates for you, in our stakeholder feedback this last year, members asked us for more marketing. They want the association to do more marketing. So I'm very excited that we have 2 candidates who are going to help us with that. Amy Wood is a skilled food and beverage category marketer, as in she's done marketing for the National Mushroom Council or USA Pears. Like, she knows exactly what we're doing in our position as a trade organization. And Trevor has worked in the wine industry his whole career and brings a great perspective from another tangential industry for us. So the 2 of them are going to introduce themselves really quickly for you so you can meet them. They're on screen with us. And I'll call Amy first. I'm actually in her office right now. You'll notice I'm not in my normal office, but I'm here at Curious Plot presenting with you. So Amy, will you say hello?
Hi, thanks, Emily. It's great to be with everyone today. And I'm really honored that I was asked if I would consider running for a board position. I've had the chance to know Emily for several years now, and from time to time we would trade notes about different grants that she was working on. And I've always just kind of kept an eye on what she has been working on, because the cider industry is really an interesting up and coming industry to the Pacific Northwest. And so as Emily mentioned, I work in marketing. I'm a senior vice president of strategy at an agency called Curious Plot. Curious Plot is an agency that specializes only in food and agriculture marketing. So I've spent my whole career in food and agriculture. We are owned by Land O'Lakes, so we are owned by farmers, and that's something we really take pride in. We love staying close to agriculture and being really truly vested in growing food and agriculture because of our ag roots. Over the years, in the last 20 years, I've worked on a number of crop and industry group campaigns and have helped industries, much like the cider industry, make their way into the spotlight and really get the coverage and the recognition that they deserve. For a number of years, I worked for apples, pears, and cherries, including USA Pears, Washington Apples, and Washington Cherry Organization groups, just kind of going after various national initiatives to get them further in the national spotlight and to grow consumer appetite for those products. And currently I work for, as Emily mentioned, the Mushroom Council, the National Watermelon Promotion Board, and a number of other commodity groups that are seeking to do much of the same of what you guys are doing, which is really bring a premium brand recognition to the category and ensure that you're not seen as a commodity in a lot of ways. You know, a lot of trade organizations are setting out to do generic marketing on behalf of a category, but the true successful ones are the ones that make sure that they premiumize their brand appeal as an industry group. So I think you have a lot of potential to do that, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to work with you on that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Trevor, do you want to jump in?
I do. Thanks, Emily. So thanks everyone for having me. I really appreciate the consideration for this board position. I was nominated, actually approached by Kristen Fix, who I know. I live here in Hood River and have known Kristen and Dave pretty much since I moved here. And so like Amy said, just really honored and appreciative of the opportunity to work with you. I had a chance to meet with Emily last week for lunch, and she kind of explained some of the goals of the association in terms of raising awareness and education and knowledge of cider. And that's something that I have pretty much made certainly the center point of what I do now in my position with Naked Wines. But also, like Emily said, I've worked in the wine industry almost exclusively my entire career. And so doing that for wine, working on educating myself and raising my own awareness and understanding has been kind of the first phase of my career. And then the second phase has been spreading that understanding and sharing that with others and sort of demystifying. You know, obviously wine can be kind of intimidating and mystifying to people. And I've worked really hard to be an agent for change in that respect. And also, you know, take some of the complexities and make them a little more approachable and more understanding. So I definitely see an opportunity to bring some of that experience to bear on the goals of the association. And then also kind of my own personal take on it. The industry, the wine industry, obviously ranges in size like the cider industry does, and I've always found it most gratifying and most rewarding to work for smaller family-run estates, smaller, artisan type producers. And I certainly see some parallels to that within the association membership and the cider industry as well, is really focusing and celebrating that diversity and style and approach to the production. So like I said, just really happy to have this chance, something I had never really considered until Kristen approached me about it. And the more I thought about it, it really seemed like a great fit. So I think, some of the things I've learned, I can help you guys reach what you're trying to do. And again, just appreciate the opportunity to do that. So thanks for having me. And if this all works out, I look forward to working with the group.
Wonderful. We're so honored to have both of you running for board positions. And if anyone is curious about running for future years, please reach out to Scott or myself. We're happy to chat with you or anyone on the board, really. So it's time to vote. Make sure you have turned a ballot in. MJ will make sure you have the link if you couldn't find it in your email. And then we're going to close the ballot before the end of the meeting and let you know how elections went. Okay. Strategic planning. So I am very excited to present our new 3-year strategic plan. Before we talk about the actual plan, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the work we've done and some of the key elements of the plan. If anything is unclear to you, please add your questions in the chat. I will do my best to answer the questions at the end. It's hard to kind of juggle sharing my screen and looking at the chat right now. This, as Scott alluded to earlier, this process did start in winter 2021. So it has been about 9 months, and a lot of work has been done by everyone involved. I particularly want to thank Scott and Jose Gonzalez from La Familia Cider, who's on our board. Both were on the sort of subcommittee task force in creating this plan and moving this forward. And it's a really good piece of work. I've been going through the plan one-on-one with some folks. So if you want more details after this presentation, or you want me to present to your team, I'm really happy to, so feel free to reach out. And at the end of the next 2 slides, we will open this up for comments. So this is just a quick summary. I think we will start with important questions that we were discussing. Oh, here's the planning process. Yes. So as I mentioned, we started about 9 months ago. We spent a lot of time, I would say upwards of 30 hours talking to stakeholders. Thank you to all of you who responded to my requests, our questions. We really dug deep. It helped us clarify our core values. It was a really rigorous process. A lot of people were involved. We met monthly. The board met for a whole weekend, as Andy alluded. We went clamming, but really the whole weekend was focused on developing this strategic plan. And we grappled with some key decisions. You know, are we growing our programs? How do we directly serve members? How do we continue to encourage high quality cider coming out of the Pacific Northwest? And I'll give you an overview of the 3 main goals that came out of this process. Okay, so these were the big decisions we grappled with. There were a lot of questions, there were a lot of pieces we were answering, but these are the main pieces. So over the next 3 to 5 years, the Northwest Cider Association has decided to deepen and grow our existing programs as the primary work of our organization. That's instead of adding on 10 million new programs. The second decision we made was that we exist to serve our members, and marketing sits at the intersection of what our members want and what NWCA does well. Thirdly, NWCA can also directly serve our members' needs by 3 main points. We're going to provide membership networking opportunities, develop educational materials, and delivering one-on-one expert information and referrals. And finally, we want to encourage production of high quality cider coming out of the Northwest. We want to be known for that. Okay, so I went over this earlier, but I want Scott to say it again so that we all kind of get it in our brains. Oh, I think you're muted, Scott.
Yeah, so our new updated vision statement here is the Pacific Northwest is at the heart of the craft cider movement, with a vibrant collaborative industry where anyone can share in the success and joy of cider. And our updated mission statement is, we nurture the community, economy, and ecosystem of a thriving cider culture for our members and consumers by supporting businesses, inspiring quality, and telling the story of Pacific Northwest cider.
Okay, I'll have Jose start us off. We can jump right into what is the plan? What are our goals?
Yeah, thank you, Emily. And as most people can see, you'll see that everything is really driven towards supporting members. And in this case, and this was a difficult one. You know, it seems simple, but it's difficult to really help the staff know what to focus on. And strategy one is educating consumers. And the second one, which I think has been overlooked in the past, was the gatekeepers, the distributors, the account buyers, the bartenders, the media influencers. You know, so those are the two strategies in order to we're taking to promote Northwest Cider, to increase the demand for all of our ciders.
Thank you so much. Andrew, I'm going to call on you now to present goal 2.
Sure. Thinking about empowerment in general, so that members of the Northwest Cider Association can access information and pursue their business as they see fit with the best tools and the best support that we can provide, providing networking opportunities, which I think is a little more complex than, say, like hosting after parties, but definitely want you to, get the soft fuzzies around the after parties. But networking opportunities, thinking about like that Google listserv and the wide variety of opportunities we have to come together as cider makers and cider businesses and enjoy each other's company and watch the relationships that grow out of that. Shared educational opportunities, providing and developing these. And so thinking about, symposiums coming to mind clearly, but also the work that we're putting into the PICC, now the NWCP, I believe, Cider Cup, no? Northwest Cider Cup.
CC.
Thank you. And making sure that we have, as an association, strategies in place, providing quality feedback and evaluative feedback around the cider that's being produced here in the Northwest. The third strategy to empower members has to do with having a board and a staff that are available and are serving as this resource hub, detailing, keeping websites up to date and resource lists available, but also themselves as human beings, really working to weave that community fabric and be the association. And then strategy number 4, reducing policy barriers. And this has to do with our, regionally specific lobbying efforts and ways to make sure that our memberships and cider as a category in this industry in our region are specifically being addressed, and policies that support those notions, whether they be tax classes or harvesting techniques, that those are coming to bear, and that the Northwest Cider Association is pursuing commentary and support of those. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
You got it. I realized anyone who's on the phone may not know who you are or who's speaking now.
Forgive me. My name's Andrew. I'm the vice president of the board, and I work at Thin River Cidery.
Thank you. And before that was Jose Gonzalez from La Familia Cider on the board. Next up, Kristen, will you introduce yourself and also present the...
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Fix. I am the secretary of the board. I am one of the co-owners of Slopeswell Cider Company and Working Hands Fermentation in Hood River, Oregon. So goal 3 is to support Northwest cidery production of high quality cider. And I think just along the same veins of promoting that increased demand and empowering our members. The intended outcome for this goal is to just ensure that makers, buyers, and consumers are all educated about what really makes a quality cider, and of course, to reinforce that the highest quality ciders come from us in the Northwest. Staff are working, they're collaborating with folks in the industry to establish what those quality markers are and to sort of create those infuse those standards into the guidelines for the language that we're using. Like it says here, the strategy is to establish those standards that are aligned with the ACA style guidelines, we really talked a lot about how important it is to have this shared language around cider so that when you do leave the Northwest, if you're drinking a cider in Michigan or Virginia, our consumers and buyers really still have all of that shared language and understanding. Some of that work, I think Jana kind of mentioned this earlier, it involves things like relying less on specific style names and being attached to those and more on what are the apples and ingredients that we're putting into certain types of ciders. And then the second strategy, we've talked a lot about the cider competition, the cup, as Emily Becker just called it. I think that's an awesome name for it moving forward. But yeah, so just using kind of those guidelines and all of that language and standards and infusing that into the Northwest Cider Cup. Obviously, many of you have entered ciders over the year and won dozens of awards. And as you know, having intentional, thoughtful, educated competition just serves to enhance the quality of the cider coming out of this region. So we really pride ourselves on the cup, and it's a huge part of what we do, and just infusing all of that education and training back into our cideries and our members so that you all can have really tangible benefits of being a member of Northwest Cider Association.
Thank you. Okay, so in the interest of time, I will stay on, the board will stay on at the end of the meeting to answer specific questions about the plan. But here's how we're going to be putting this plan into action. And here's where you can really take advantage. We are going to highlight some of the strategic actions that are coming up in the next year. And before I get into that, of course, I want to tell you how it's funded. So in order to do these three things, to support our businesses, to improve the quality of cider made in the Northwest, and to tell the story of our members, this work really wouldn't be possible without your dues and our sponsors. This graph that those of you on the phone can't see, but we have a pie chart here that really shows how our revenue is dispersed. And our membership dollars are a full 13% of our revenue. Our sponsorship dollars are 17% of our revenue. Our activities, registration for symposium, for example, is 13% as well. And then we have this really large chunk, 57%, is from grants. So this work wouldn't be possible without the Montana, the Idaho, the Washington, the Oregon Department of Agriculture's. It is really limited what we can spend grant funds on. So dues and sponsorships are really the backbone of our organization. Without your dues and sponsorships, we wouldn't be able to leverage literally millions of dollars for the industry. So how are we going to get all this done? Well, right now we're seeking sponsorships, and we're heading into the grant writing season. And it really, all of that sits on your shoulders as our members. If you are a new member this year, or you've recently renewed, I hope that you have noticed that our ability to promote and support Pacific Northwest Cider, it's really grown exponentially in the last decade. The amount of programming and marketing budget we have is now off the charts, and the overall organizational budget has grown exponentially since our last strategic plan. Meanwhile, our membership dues have not changed that much. So we're really happy that we're able to support the entire industry and grow the industry without having to ask you for lots more money. It's a huge pride point for us. The number of grants we've been able to get. And let's be honest, this is an alcoholic trade organization. Most of these grants, usually they go towards crop research or pest management. But we've really developed a recognized track record of growing sales for the industry and the agriculture products that go into your cider, whether that's the apples and pears as the base or the other fruits that are added to ciders or botanicals. We're also very good at managing grants, and we've been recognized by all these departments of agriculture for being good at managing their funds. And we actually are excited to say we have over $1 million coming in that we will use over the next 3 years to support growing demand for Northwest Cider. So in the next 3 years, we will be the host region for CiderCon. The Cider Cup is happening and our Cider Club. So all you need are C's and you can follow along on what we're doing. So we will be, I'll jump in here, but the grants are going to do a lot for us. We know every single one of your pennies counts a lot, especially with inflation these days. So we know that's a real effort for you, and we are really proud that we can do most of this programming with added funds. So the first one to mark your calendar, for those of you on the phone, whip your phones out now, March 13th and 14th, it's the Northwest Cider Symposium. I'm really delighted to say we will be back in Tacoma. And we had a lot of fun there. We're going to be bringing back the buyer event the night before. We are seeking topics right now for the symposium workshops. And if you know great speakers, someone who's been really entertaining in the past, please let us know. Feel free to put it in the chat. As Emily Becker mentioned, we have a really great planning team made up of many cideries from across the region. Thank you all who are on the phone right now, who are listening later, for helping us guide the programming. It is really a pleasure to work with everyone on that. Cider Cup, Northwest Cider Cup. So as Jana mentioned at the top of the meeting, in response to COVID closing tap rooms and restaurants in 2020, we partnered with USDA and state departments of agricultures to get customers cider where they were, which was at home. And we launched the first multi-brand cider subscription program that fall. In about 2 years, we've delivered Northwest ciders into people's homes almost 4,000 times across 39 states. And we're getting cider into people's homes. They're learning about the overall category. It's an incredible marketing tool to bring to life the story of Northwest Cider. As Jana mentioned, we're now curating the ciders that are going to be offered in the box next year. So let's drop that one more time into the chat. If you haven't submitted for next year, you can, if you have been in the box before, we're starting over again, you're welcome to submit. We'd love to have you again. Now is the time. And a reminder, you do have to be a dues paying Northwest Cider Association member to be in the box. It's only fair, right? Okay, Northwest Cider Cup. You can see we have a new logo, thanks to our graphic designer. She's on it. So details about the cup, please mark your calendars now. June 12th is when we will hold the competition. For the last decade, we've run it as the Portland International Cider Cup. It will be run the same way. It's just a new name. You know, when you buy a granola bar, it says new name, same bar inside. It's the same for us. Same competition inside the packaging. It's still a strict competition. It was still a competition that grew out of the brainchild of cideries in the Northwest who wanted a stricter competition. They actually wanted feedback from trained judges on how their cider was. They don't just want a participation award. We are going to give you that. We've really used the mission of the association to inspire quality. This is the training that our industry gets is so important here. So we have cider makers as judges, but we also have bartenders or distributors or media, and they get a solid 90-minute training on what they should be looking for quality cider. And then those people go out into the community and can be our spokespeople. They know more about cider every year. We are also giving every cider that is entered multiple judges feedback on what they're tasting. So whether you win a medal or not, you're guaranteed to get feedback from trained judges. And then of course, when you do win a medal, when the medals have been announced, we use that time to tell the story of Northwest Cider to consumers who want to know what are the best ciders to drink. We want them to be thinking about quality when they think about Northwest Cider. We've partnered again with our state departments of agriculture and have a grant to really blow up the Cider Cup next year. We're going to be blowing up marketing, PR. We are going to be creating more educational resources to train judges and consumers. The ask I have of you all here is we're looking for a new space to host the competition. Huge thank you to our friends at Swift for hosting the last few years. We're actually growing out of their space, which is great news. Sad to leave them, but we need more space for the many judges we squeeze into the space for the competition. And then also more and more people want to come to the awards party, and we need a new space. So if you have ideas for places in Portland area to host a competition that about 100 people can be in a room, and then a party that can host about 200 people, please let us know. Maybe let MJ know. She's in the chat right now. Okay, big news. CiderCon is coming to the Northwest in 2024. So thank you so much, Michelle McGrath and the American Cider Association for coming back to the Northwest. Here at the Northwest Cider Association, many of the folks on the call here, we're here to support you, run an amazing CiderCon. I am happy to go to Chicago this coming February, but I'm really delighted to have the nation come to Portland for us to show off Northwest Cider in the following year. And one of the ways that NWCA will be supporting CiderCon 2024 is that we've partnered with state departments of ag, AKA we have grant funding to increase visibility of CiderCon here when it comes back to Portland. We'll be supporting our cideries by connecting you with buyers and media. We'll also be leveraging the event to really tell the story of Northwest Cider. So your action item now, I know it's far from now, but block your calendars, make sure you're not traveling to Kazakhstan to harvest apples in the middle of CiderCon. Get this on your calendar now. Of course, put your 2023 dates on, but January 2024, block your time. And of course, your second action item, it does take a long time to plan these things, and we will be starting to plan this 2024 event very soon. If you want to participate in any way, no pressure, but if you do, please email Jana. She is leading this project. Her email is Jana, J-A-N-A-D, as in Daisy Ensign, at nwcider.com. Okay, thank you. Thank you for making the time to celebrate all that we've accomplished as an industry in 2022, to support our cideries, to improve quality and tell the story of Northwest Cider. Together, we are at the heart of the craft cider movement. It's exciting to anticipate what's coming up in 2023. And if you want to be part of what is coming up, please renew your membership. Thank you so much to all of you who already have. We sent out the renewal September 1st, and we've had so many people renew right away. I'm so tickled. Thank you also to all of our allied suppliers who have renewed and who have sponsored next year's events. We do have a limited number of sponsorship opportunities. They are first come, first serve, so contact me as soon as possible if you would like to sponsor one of our events next year. And we encourage our cidery members to do business with our sponsors so we can all share in the success and joy of cider. Drum roll, please. Congratulations to our returning board members. Matt, Andrew, Kristen, Rachel, Andy, we have closed the ballot now. Congratulations. You are hooked again for another 2 years. The membership has ratified your nominations. And thank you so much and congratulations to our brand new board members, Amy and Trevor. Welcome aboard. Thank you for being willing to work with us for the next 2 years. You are officially a board member as of today. So that concludes the recorded portion of our annual general meeting. I'm going to stop the recording now and open up the